Hi, Hani. Marhaba. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabah al-Khair. Thank you for having
Sabah.
me.
Thank you, Hani, for taking the time to speak with me. I'm speaking with you today. I'm reaching out because you are Palestinian American. You have family members in Gaza right now. You lost one family member, a brother, a nephew, and a niece.
A lot of them, six family members, my brother, his wife, my sister-in-law, four of their kids, and an unlimited amount of cousins, limitless amount of cousins, or limitless numbers of cousins and friends.
Wow, we are very sorry for everyone's loss. Honestly, it is our loss as well. So I'm reaching out to you because I think I feel the whole world is in a moment of panic and shock, and we kind of in pain. And I'm taking this moment to connect with you to make sense out of this. So, as someone who is in touch with Gazan people, with Gaza, and what's going on, do you see any light that comes out of the dark, of the heart of darkness that the humanity is experiencing right now?
Hanan, thank you. It's a critical question we should probably been having for the last 15, 16 years where Gaza has been under siege. A lot of people have not heard the plight of Gaza. And unfortunately, like a lot of states and actors ignore the problem until it becomes unignorable. And that's what basically happened in Gaza. I've been going to Gaza as a person from Gaza, but also with somebody who works with a number of NGOs that want to support the Palestine community, the refugees, the young people. And it's always heartbreaking because, history did not begin on October 7th, certainly. And I'd like an opportunity to talk about Gaza before that date. What before we were led to this moment? How did Gaza look? How did life in Gaza was? So that's sort of like the conversation I'd like to talk about today, perhaps.
Mhm.
So Hanan, if when obviously Gaza's under siege, and if we look at the numbers prior to October 7th, we're look at what's the number? 81% of the population is under the poverty line. That's 81% of the people are not making enough wage.
Mm.
Unemployment for young people, the younger people, is 75%. So this is just a very grim outlook if you look at it. And then about 60% of the people of Gaza were in food assistance. And that's not sustainable. You look at that, it means poverty, lack of opportunities. And we know 50% of the people of Gaza are under the age of 18. So that's a fairly young population, and you don't offer those young people opportunities. And, right now it does feel in the last 17 years, a lot of people have failed Gaza. So Gaza was going nowhere really fast. And I remember one of the most telling things for me as a Palestinian from Gaza is after the 2021 war, which was pretty nasty war in Gaza. A lot of people were killed, lots of destructions. It was a very intense round of destruction in Gaza. Unfortunately, we've lost a lot of family members then. And then after the firing ended, the conversation is started about, hey, Gaza will have a seaport. Gaza will have an open economy. We no longer have to wait for months and in some cases years to travel out of Gaza for the Rafah crossing. There is potential of an airport, and there was a lot of this, a lot of talk that people felt, okay, good, now we have something.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, the current or the Israeli government that was in charge was not really serious in doing anything for Gaza to, improve conditions,
Mhm.
and they were not willing to pay the price for peace. And I know that in Gaza, everybody was really ready, like, okay, we've had this is the last war. Let's make something. Let's have an economy. And unfortunately, the players did not come through for Gaza.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, things kept going nose down diving, and it's just unfortunate.
So let me ask you about the wealthy Muslims in the world. Do they work together? Do they have any platform where they meet, discuss, act?
There is also a war in that. You get generous philanthropists, American Muslims who want to support the cause, but they they scare them. They're like, oh, you're gonna go support this. Now we're seeing
Oh,
more banks discriminating against Palestinian aid organizations, or shutting accounts, or refusing to release funds. I did a GoFundMe page for my family, and the company said, oh, no, no, we're gonna pause and ask more questions. And the same thing with other platforms. They deny us the financial resources to rebuild from the harm they have caused.
mm,
So that's a challenge. Is there a generous response from American Muslims? 100%. But we all feel desperate. Like the least we can do is send the $100, the $1,000, the $10,000 to buy food. And the other thing is, people are all fearful. Is my money going to get to Gaza because they closed everything? Yes, some of it is getting to Gaza right now. Most of it will get in later, but the help is needed now. I tell people, support charities that spend the money now. Don't wait for the ones who are going to spend it next month. People would need the help next month, but they also need it now. And we're getting a lot of support. Obviously, it pales in comparison is what the other side is raising. I've heard about the gala for IDF in Los Angeles, raised $60 million. We're nowhere near that as a community here. Is
mm,
there emotional support? Yes. Are there people who rally? Yes. Are there people who are giving their wealth for Palestine, for Gaza? Yes. But also, they also have fears,
mm,
which is somehow I don't get those, but I understand them.
mm,
Give you an example.
mhm,
You tell your bank, give this check to to this organization, and they put in the memo Gaza. Then that triggers a flag, and they go for further screening. They release the money eventually, but that sort of give you a chilling effect. Like
mm,
whenever you're given to a UN agency, you're given to a credible US charity, but somehow they want to make sure, like, oh, think twice before this. You could do it. You could do it like, hey, I want to support the IDF in Israel in the check. I have yet to see somebody says, oh, they've faced questions from their bank about this.
mm.
And you're talking about effectively soldiers who are killing and murdering people.
How about I feel like we are always there is no system like we don't have alternatives for transparency when it comes to donating money. Like we always, the only option people have is to donate to organizations. Is it possible that we create a system, a transparent system where we see exactly where the money is going and to whom, and maybe the donor have a contact with the person who receives the money? And just I feel like, okay, because I think people at this point in life and technology and advancement, we expect to have other ways, more transparent ways to donate and to help others, just like you track your package.
Yeah, I mean, that's something nobody has figured out to do this sort of like, like with Amazon, like, hey, this is being packaged, or the Domino's pizza, this is being delivered, this is being
Mhm,
put in the oven. In the not-for-profit world, that's a dream. A lot of people want to get there. The issue with it is there is ethical questions. The pizza's not going to tell you don't use my picture, for example. So when you talk with people, there is dignity, there is value. Like, I could send money to my family because I know them, I trust them. I will not go send money to strangers in Gaza, right? So
mhm,
I have that trust. I know I'm giving the money to my family and they're going to use it for something good. I would love for people to do that on a larger scale. I think a lot of, NGOs could do better in terms of report back. Here is we've spent $1 million. You've given 10% of that $1 million. Here is what that bought. Here is what that did. Keep in mind, a lot of those NGOs, they're good people. Like they're not, they're very sensitive. They want to make the world a better place, and they want to support. I've been in places where the head of NGO gets a call like, I want to give $10,000. They say, no, give it to this organization. They're doing a better job. This is the situation we are. We're not really. And there are, on the other hand, there are people who are collecting money and then, oh, what you do with it now? And they don't know because they can't, not because they're bad people.
mm,
So, I mean, there is a program with the orphan sponsorship, right? So this is a program where people sponsor an orphan,
mm,
and usually they get updates on those, but even that is being phased out because if the admin cost is a lot of high, and some donors, some people want to see their orphan, and some people don't. One of the best things I work on
mhm.
is the scholarship sponsorship.
Okay.
Say we have 200 students who are in Gaza, the West Bank, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, every year we get the tuition and a stipend for them, but also we get to the donor twice a year. We
Mm-hmm.
get them their score, their credit, their progress report, a personal letter, and in some cases a picture.
Mm-hmm.
That was very helpful for us. If the donor says, I want to talk to my student, we ask the student if it's okay. They provide their information, they have a conversation. We've done that before. Sometimes there is a language barrier, like, for example, a Palestinian student in Syria maybe doesn't speak English. So
Mm-hmm.
it becomes an issue, but there are Arab donors as well who love those connections. It's a lot of work on my part, but we love to do it because here's why. We know we have the full cycle. We know the giver, we know the receiver, and
Mm-hmm.
we just connect them and we make sure the university have the funds they need. Right now, this program is on hold.
Mm-hmm.
Before October 7th, the team, my colleague Jason, was working in a digital economy, digital jobs for Gaza, big convention in Gaza that was supposed to happen in November. We pushed for January, and halas, that's not happening. I mean, I can't get a line on the landline to call my family. Do you think people will be able to get their work done in Gaza? Because that's where the future was for Gaza, digital jobs. And there's so many young talents that you said technology brings the world together, Upwork and what other tools they can use. But that's not priority now. We want to give him food. And even then, we tell him, we're saying don't kill us. And somehow that's controversial. They tell us, oh, you're bad people if you ask them to stop killing your people. It's like I'm holding an apple and I tell people this is an apple. They tell me, no, you're a criminal. This is an orange. Like, it's an apple. No, no, no. And everybody's convinced that this is an orange, like you're the like this is an apple. That's where we are. And you feel like, am I screaming to the void? My people are living in hell right now. And
Mm-hmm.
somehow we look at the same thing and we take different things from it.
I see a dove in your thing.
Yeah, it's somebody gave me this in an event in Louisiana, my friend Rana, and I like it. It's just, right after my family were killed, so I just keep it there.
Thank you so much, honey. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.